I spent $3,500 flying home for my sister's birthday. As I walked in, Mom smirked, "Birthday's off. Expect a call from the police." I said, "Nothing, just left." That night, I raised their rent by 50%. By morning, I had 79 missed calls. But the real shock was waiting in my inbox. The plane landed with a thud, and the familiar sting of regret settled in my chest. $3,500. That's how much it cost me to fly back home for Lily's birthday. I hadn't planned to come. In fact, I promised myself never to set foot in this house again. But when Mom called, voice trembling, saying how much it would mean to Lily, to all of them, I caved because that's who I was. The one who always showed up, the one who fixed things. Stepping out of the taxi, I stared at the same White House with the peeling paint and the broken porch light they never bothered to fix. I forced a smile, clutching the gift I'd spent hours picking out, hoping maybe this time would be different. Maybe they'd see I still cared. I knocked. Silence. Then the door swung open and there stood Mom. Her eyes barely flicked to the gift bag before her lips curled into a cold, almost triumphant smile. "Birthday's off," she said. The words hit like a slap. "Expect a call from the police." For a moment, I couldn't speak. "What?" She leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. "You heard me. You should have known better." "Known better? What are you talking about?" Behind her, I saw Dad in the living room pacing, waving his hands around like a man trying to catch smoke. Lily was on the couch, tear-streaked but smirking. Zach, her boyfriend, was nowhere in sight. Mom sighed like she was explaining something to a stubborn child. "Lily told us everything about the money, about how you tried to ruin her life." Ruin her life. I felt a cold weight settle in my stomach. "Lily's lying. She has proof." Mom snapped. "Messages. Recordings. We trusted you and you tried to destroy her. So, we're done. Get ready for the police to call." My mouth went dry. Proof. Messages. What did she done this time? I should have been angry. I should have defended myself, fought back, forced them to see the truth. But instead, I did something else. I smiled. I smiled because I was done. Done explaining. Done fighting to be heard. I dropped the gift on the porch, turned and walked back to the taxi. "Where to?" the driver asked. "Back to the airport." The phone buzzed in my pocket, but I didn't look. Not until I was on the plane, staring at the glowing screen with a bitter smile. A notification from my banking app. Rental account update. Rent increased by 50%. Tenants will be notified shortly. By the time we took off, I had 79 missed calls. But I didn't care because this time I wasn't just walking away. I was cutting ties. The phone wouldn't stop ringing. 50 missed calls. 60-79. By the time I landed back in Denver, the buzzing had turned into a constant vibration, draining the battery. I didn't care. I let it die, watching the screen fade to black as I stepped into the biting cold. Back at my one-bedroom apartment, I plugged in the phone, grabbed a beer, and collapsed on the couch. I knew what was waiting. Voicemails, texts, a flurry of desperate, angry, manipulative messages from my parents, maybe even Lily, but none of it mattered. I'd cut them off, and I wasn't looking back. The first voicemail played on speaker as I cracked open the beer. "How could you do this?" Mom's voice was a mixture of rage and panic. "We trusted you. You were supposed to be family. I don't even know who you were anymore. Delete." The next was Dad's cold, almost businesslike. "Listen here, smartass. You think you're tough because you raised the rent? Because you're ignoring us? We'll see how tough you are when the cops knock on your door. Delete." But the third was different. I didn't mean for it to go this far. Lily's voice cracking. "They're going crazy. They told me to make it up." "Okay. They said you'd never just give me the money. They needed it for the mortgage." "I didn't. I swear I didn't." Delete. No, not delete. I saved that one because now I had something I didn't expect, an admission. But the real shock waited in my inbox. I logged in expecting spam and bills. But instead, I saw it. An email from Lily. No subject, no greeting, just a string of screenshots, messages between her and Mom, between her and Dad, even one from Zach. "If he doesn't help, tell him you have proof. Say you'll go to the police. Make it sound bad. Make it sound like you have a video. He's weak. He always gives in. A slow smile stretched across my face. Weak. That's what they thought I was. A doormat. A wallet with a heartbeat. I replied with a single line. Rent is due. 50% increase. No exceptions. An hour later, Dad tried calling again. I let it ring. 5 minutes later, another call. Then another until finally a text. You think you can do this to us? We made you. You're nothing without you ass. I laughed. I couldn't help it. Because suddenly, all those years, all those sacrifices, all those lies I'd swallowed for their sake. They didn't matter anymore. Not in the way they thought. They didn't make me. They just forged something they didn't understand. I opened my laptop and started drafting a message. Not to them. No, they didn't deserve my time. It was to my landlord. Please update tenant records. Effective immediately, the rent for my parents' property is increased by 50%. Any issues, please contact me directly. Within an hour, I had a reply confirmed. The notice would be sent to them the next morning. But I wasn't done. I opened my phone, scrolling through the saved voice messages, and then to the email screenshots. Each one a piece of the truth. Each one a nail in the coffin of their lies. I uploaded them. I wasn't hiding anymore. I made a single post. This is what family looks like when you're only useful in a crisis. Screenshots, voicemails, even a short video I had from last year. My dad drunk at a family dinner, slurring insults while Mom smiled like it was a comedy show. Lily laughing beside them. It didn't take long for the comments to pour in. Friends I hadn't spoken to in years. Strangers tagging each other. Some were sympathetic, others were shocked. But the best part, family. Aunt Marie, what is this? Is this true? Cousin Jake, I always knew they treated you like nothing, but this is evil. Uncle Mike, I knew they were using you, but I never thought they'd stoop this low. The family chat exploded. Notifications one after another, and I just watched as the people they pretended to be crumbled under the weight of their own lies. Then the call came. A number I didn't recognize. Hello. Hey, it's Zach. I almost laughed. Why are you calling me? Because you need to know. I didn't know they were lying to you. Lily told me you were threatening her, that you tried to blackmail her. I didn't believe her, but your parents backed her up. I said nothing. But yesterday when I asked her about the messages, she got weird, defensive, and then I saw her texting your mom. I think they're planning something. They want to make it look like you're the problem. Thanks for the warning, Zach. But I'm not worried. You should be. They're saying you're unstable. That you've always been jealous of Lily. Your dad is talking about getting a restraining order. I chuckled. Let them try because I had something they didn't. The truth. And now the whole family was watching. And they hadn't even seen the worst of it yet. The text came in at 3:00 p.m. just as I was finishing lunch. Family meeting. Sunday 6 p.m. Be there for Mom. No apology, no explanation, just an order. But I didn't ignore it. I didn't block her. Instead, I smiled because this wasn't just another setup. This was a trap and I was the one setting it. I made 3 calls. The first was to Zach. He hesitated but agreed to come. He had his own reasons now, a mix of guilt and anger. The second was to Lily's ex Mark, the one she destroyed a year ago with rumors and fake messages. I'd sent him the screenshots I had, the proof of how she'd twisted his words, fabricated threats. He wanted payback badly. And the third was to my landlord. I need one more favor just for tonight. I'll cover it whatever it costs. Understood. By the time I arrived at the house, it was almost sunset. Cold wind scraped against the bare trees and the house looked smaller than I remembered. Or maybe I was just seeing it for what it really was. A crumbling shrine to their lies. I walked in without knocking. They were all there. Mom, her arms crossed, face tight with fake concern. Dad, pacing, trying to look tough. And Lily, perched on the couch, her phone in her lap, glancing at me with that familiar smug smile. But there was someone else too. A man in a dark suit. Square jaw. Police badge on his belt. Mom's voice was syrupy. The fake sweetness almost painful. Oh, honey. I'm so glad you came. We were just talking to Officer Reynolds here about everything. Lily leaned back, smirking. Yeah, everything. The cop turned to me. We've had some concerning reports about harassment, threats, even financial manipulation. We just want to get everyone's side of the story. My pulse stayed steady. Sure, I'd love to share my side. Dad stepped forward, playing the wounded patriarch. This is your chance, son. Just apologize. Stop this madness. We're family. Family, I repeated, letting the word hang in the air. I reached into my bag and pulled out a folder thick with printed screenshots, text messages, the emails Lily had sent me, everything. I was going to do this privately. I really was. I handed the folder to the officer, but since we're having a family meeting, let's do this, right? The officer flipped through the pages, his expression shifting from neutral to something colder. What is this? It's the truth. Not just about the money they've stolen, but about the lies they've told, about the threats, the manipulation. And that's just the start. Lily's smile vanished. This is a joke. You faked those. Oh, really? I pulled out my phone, unlocked it, and opened the voice. Recording. Her voice filled the room, frantic, panicked. I didn't mean for it to go this far. They're going crazy. They told me to make it up. I didn't. I swear I didn't. Her face drained of color. Mom's jaw dropped. Dad's fists clenched. The officer's gaze hardened. Miss, is this your voice? That's not the only recording I have. I continued, locking eyes with Dad. Because after years of being treated like a walking ATM, I started saving things like the time you told me I was nothing without you or the messages you sent to Lily telling her to threaten me. Dad stepped forward. You selfish child. The officer stepped between us, hand on his holster. Sir, sit down. Lily was shaking now. This isn't fair. Mrs. Z. I cut her off. You know what's not fair, Lily? Being accused of crimes I didn't commit. Being told I was destroying your life when you were the one lying, stealing, faking evidence. And guess what? You didn't even stop there. I turned to the door, Mark. The door swung open and Mark walked in. Tall, sharp, holding his own set of papers. His face a mask of calm fury. Lily, he said, his voice ice cold. You remember me? The guy you told everyone was abusive. The guy you tried to ruin with fake texts. Lily's lips trembled. You have no right. Oh, I do. Because you didn't just lie about me. You documented it. You saved it like some twisted trophy. Mom stumbled back, eyes wide. I didn't know. I laughed. Didn't know. Of course you did. You helped her. Just like you helped Dad try to gaslight me into believing I was crazy. Just like you lied to the family, telling them I'd stolen from you. The officer was taking notes now, his face grim. This is a lot to process. We'll need to take this down to the station. Oh, I'm not done. I turned to the hallway. Zach. Zach stepped out of the shadows, looking almost apologetic. Hey, everyone. Dad's face twisted. You? Yeah, me. The guy you tried to use to back up your story. The one you told would never believe his precious girlfriend was a liar. He turned to the officer. I have my own messages. Proof that they planned this, that they lied to frame him. Lily's scream was almost animal. You're all ganging up on me. It's not fair. No, Lily. What's not fair is you lying. Manipulating, destroying lives for fun. Dad tried one last trick. Officer, they're all lying. He's twisting everything. The officer looked at me, then at them. I think we'll sort this out at the station. Everyone will have a chance to speak. Dad's voice cracked. You can't do this. We're family. Not anymore. As the officer began leading them out, Mom reached for me. Please, please don't do this. We're your parents. I pulled back. You were a burden, and I'm done carrying it. Lily sobbed, trying to cling to Zach, but he shrugged her off. Mark turned, gave me a grim nod, and followed them out. The house fell silent, empty. A graveyard of broken lies. And for the first time in years, I felt something incredible. I felt free. 3 days. That's how long it took for the world to find out. I didn't even have to try. The police report was public record. The screenshots, the voice messages, the testimonies, they spread like wildfire. Cousins I hadn't spoken to in years were texting, some apologizing, some pretending they always knew something was wrong. A few tried to play peacemakers. Family is family no matter what. Maybe this is a misunderstanding. Can't you all just talk it out? Talk it out. The thought made me laugh because this wasn't a misunderstanding. It was years of manipulation, abuse, and betrayal finally exposed. But that wasn't the best part. The real fireworks began when I posted everything, not just the screenshots. I turned it into a video. I sat in front of the camera, my face calm, voice steady, no anger, no tears, just the truth. My name is Jack, and this is what my family did to me. The video started with the recordings, Dad's threats, a mom's gaslighting, Lily's fake sob story, then the screenshots, the messages where they plotted against me, the emails from Lily begging for money she claimed was for the mortgage, the texts where she laughed with Mom about tricking the stupid brother. I didn't need to add commentary. The facts spoke for themselves. Within 24 hours, it had 100,000 views. By the end of the week, it was at 500,000. People were sharing it on Facebook, Reddit, Instagram. Strangers messaged me, some telling me their own horror stories, others just offering support. And then the fallout really began. Mom tried to do damage control on Facebook. A long rambling post about how family should forgive, how I was just confused, how she always loved me. Her friends, the ones who used to post Bible quotes and recipes, started questioning her, but his video shows the texts. Susan, did you really say those things? Why didn't you just apologize? She tried deleting it. Then she made her profile private, but it was too late. Screenshots of her lies were already circulating. Dad went silent at first. Then he tried a different approach. Legal threats. I got an email from a local lawyer, some cheap firm that probably cost him $100. Cease and desist, defamation, slander, emotional distress. I forwarded it to my lawyer, a friend from college who owed me a favor. Nice try, but tell them to prepare for a countersuit. I have everything saved. That was the last I heard from their lawyer. Lily, she tried the sympathy card. Posted a tearful video of her own, saying she was the real victim, that I was always jealous, that I edited the messages to make her look bad. It didn't work because in the comments, people were already posting the proof, linking to my video, screenshotting her lies. Even Zach left a comment, "Stop lying, Lily. I was there. I know what you did." Her video was taken down within hours. But the real twist came when Mark, her ex, reached out to me again. He'd shown the video to his lawyer, the same lawyer who helped him when she tried to ruin his life. He was filing for defamation. He wanted me to testify. I agreed without a second thought. And while they scrambled to salvage their reputations, I was rebuilding my life. I moved out of my one-bedroom apartment into something better, a loft downtown with a view of the city skyline. I used the money I saved from not supporting them to finally do something for myself. I posted updates, not just for attention, but to show that it was possible to escape, to rebuild, to thrive. And then came the final blow. One morning as I was having coffee, I got a notification. An email from my landlord. Notice of eviction sent to tenants. Property now listed for new lease. My parents were being kicked out. The rent increase I'd ordered had been too much for them. With no more support from me, they couldn't keep up. An hour later, another message. This time from Lily. You can't do this. We have nowhere to go. I didn't reply. I didn't need to because they weren't my problem anymore. By the end of the month, they were gone, forced to pack their lives into boxes, scrambling for a new place. Family members who once defended them were ignoring their calls. Some even reached out to me, saying they were sorry, asking if I was okay. I didn't pretend to be a saint. I told them the truth. I wasn't okay. Not yet. But I was getting there. My channel blew up after the video. I turned it into a series. Not just about my family, but about toxic relationships, about setting boundaries, about choosing yourself. People subscribed. They shared their stories. I wasn't just some victim. I was a survivor. And now I had a voice. And then one night, as I was reading comments, a familiar name appeared, Zach. I just wanted to say you were right. I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner, but I'm glad you're free now. I replied, me, too. The next morning, I woke up to another message from an email I didn't recognize, but the name was familiar. Lily, please just talk to me. I have nothing left. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. They tried to ruin me, but I reclaimed my life. And from the ashes, I built something better. 6 months have passed since I left them behind. My apartment on the 20th floor is spacious, bright, with a view of the city I now call my own. Work no longer suffocates me because I work for myself. My channel has become something more than I ever imagined. Stories of people who escaped toxic families, their victories and struggles. I'm not just telling my story. I'm listening to others. They write. They share. They thank me. Mornings begin with coffee and silence. I watch the city wake up knowing I have nowhere I need to rush. No one is waiting for a call. No one expects me to fix their problems. Lily vanished from my life just like my parents. At first, they tried to slander me, but their attempts drowned in an ocean of evidence. The family chat exploded with arguments, then went quiet. Those who once called me selfish are now silent, and that's fine. I took a few therapy sessions. At first, I thought I was wasting time, but each conversation opened new doors. I realized I had spent years trying to buy love they never had. That my sacrifices were never needed because they only saw me as a resource. Now I invest in myself. I've enrolled in photography courses, started a small video editing agency where I work on my own terms. In the evenings, I meet with people who value me, not use me. I no longer fear their calls because there are none. I no longer wonder if I did something wrong because I saved myself. Sometimes I wonder, was I cruel? Maybe. But if saving myself is cruelty, then I accept it without regret.